Hey guys, welcome to the Something About Tuesdays podcast. I'm your host, Phebe Joi. Join me every other Tuesday for a lighthearted podcast to keep you company while you do your thing. Hey guys, welcome back to Something About Tuesdays, episode 50. Woohoo! I don't know what exactly, there's nothing really special about episode 50 other than it sounds good. Like, hey, I've reached 50 episodes. Yay! Hey everybody, welcome back. Hopefully your last couple of weeks have been good. This time in January. Now I'm recording this and this is actually the Wednesday before it comes out. So I am still in January. I know last episode I mentioned that. I was like, January lasts for so long. Even with a week-long break from school and work, it's still just dragging along. I'm like, it's still January. It's just January 29th. It's not even January 30th. Like, we're still in the 20s. But yeah, so I've had a good last couple of weeks, even if it's still January. Now, when this comes out, we've made it to February. Woohoo! And it's funny because it's kind of hard to believe the first month of the year is already over with. So that's just how time works. Like when you're in it, you're like, this takes forever. And then once you're at the end, you're like, oh, that was it. So I hope you guys had an amazing and great last couple of weeks. I hope it's been good. So the last couple of weeks, it's political stuff. It is what it is. And I can say, just not even politically related, but just in the last month of January, you know how people say things happen and they say, well, that wasn't on my 2025 bingo card. Okay, so I thought about that statement and I was like, you know what? Y'all know how my brain works. I said, I want to make a 2025 bingo card. And then I was like, okay, I don't know how to do it. I was like, if I did a bingo card, do I do things that are outrageous? Because usually when people say that wasn't on my bingo card, it's because something outrageous happened that no one would ever think. So I was like, do I write the outrageous things so that way I can say, oh, I did have that on my 2025 bingo card? Or do I write just things that I actually do think will happen this year? And so then I was thinking about that. And then I was like, I don't know. I don't know if I should make a bingo card. I was writing things down and I was like, is this kind of like bingo's cool, but sometimes you can gamble with a bingo. And I'm like, I don't know if gambling's what we want to do. And I was like, I don't want this to be a chance card. I don't want to start thinking of chance and things like that, And then I was like, I don't want, how sometimes people... Y'all, back in 2019, I made a vision board. We had a whole vision board party, which was a lot of fun. And then 2020 happened and I was like, oh my goodness, were we not supposed to do a vision board? Was that when people talk about manifesting stuff, are we trying to manifest? I'm not trying to manifest anything. I'm going to pray about it and hope the Lord does it, right? So I was like, okay, maybe I won't call it my bingo card for 2025, and maybe I won't call it my vision board for 2025. I was like, what am I going to call it? And I was like, of course I'm a goal setter. So I was like, maybe I'll call it my goals goal board card. I don't remember what I came up with, but I was like, maybe it's just my goals. But then I was like, but goals are things that you have to actively make happen. I still kind of want some of those things that either it's a God thing, God has to do it, not chance, either God or just those unexpected things, but those good unexpected things. Because I was like, I could make a negative 2025 bingo card, things that I wouldn't want to happen, but they would. But so anyway, y'all, my mind was everywhere. But I did get stuck on that because I feel like I've heard that statement. Oh, I didn't see that on my bingo card. And I was like, this hypothetical bingo card that's out there in the ether. I was like, I want to make one. So I have come up with ideas and I'm going to share with you all. And so we're not going to call it our bingo cards for 2025. We're not going to call it our vision board. I'm not even going to call it goal setting. Definitely not calling it resolutions. But I think I want to create. I do want to create. Y'all know I love my list. But it's not going to be a list. I think I am going to create a board of some kind, almost like a game. We'll do our own 2025 game, and there will be the boxes, so a picture it looking like a bingo card, and in each box, I want to put a little something, and then reward myself somehow if I get a row, either a row or a column or a diagonal. I haven't figured out what my prizes will be because I was like, there's got to be some motivation here other than just, filling up the whole board, which would be great because that means, you reached everything. But it is kind of funny. That's why I said some of it I feel like has to be random and God related, because I want it to be more than just goals, right? Things that I can actively do, because that is a lot of what I focus on. Y'all know, you've listened to this podcast long enough to know that I am always actively trying to do something to get better at something, do better, be better, etc. And so I'm trying to figure out, like, okay, there are some things I definitely can do and I believe we should do. And there's some things that just God has to do, and we got to let God do him. But that doesn't mean we can't anticipate God doing it, right? So on my goal, oh, look, I still don't even know what to call it. We're going to call it the 2025 board. That's just it. We're not going to call it goals, vision, or bingo. On my 2025 board, I was like, okay, I'm going to have different categories of things, like the BINGO. And I was thinking like a spiritual category, of course, where I could get like put a sticker on the square of like maybe do a 3-day fast, because I don't often do that. Like that's something I would have to intentionally do, and it would be something different. So maybe like a 3-day fast, maybe attend a conference, like that could be like a spiritual thing. Things like that. I haven't fully fleshed it out. Believe it or not, I've thought about it the last couple of weeks, but I have not sat down and written down everything. I've only written down just a few ideas. Of course, I thought about, the physical, that might be a category. And that would be something like, okay, once I've lost 10 pounds, I can check that off. Or maybe even went to the gym, 10 times that month or something like that. Something that I can't check off like just in a day per se, but that's like physically related to maybe my health or something like that. I thought about socially, like that could be a fun one, whether it's spending, time with my family or friends in a special way, like either planning a trip or just doing something. I know I put on one of them, make a new friend. And what kind of made me think about this was I had a doctor's appointment that I had gone to. And while I was there, the front desk lady, this was getting some blood work done. So she was just signing me in. And she seemed like my age, close to my age, if not even a little younger, honestly. And just, I don't know if you've ever met someone that you're like, you know what, I think we could be friends. Like, I don't know if just your spirits vibe or just your personality seem to vibe. Like when you just smile, I don't know, the way you interact, even as strangers, just seems to flow. And that's kind of how it was with her. Like we smiled over similar things and our humors were kind of similar. I don't know, like in that 5-minute or less interaction, I just felt like, you could be my friend. Like, I want to be your friend. I've met people that I'm like, I wonder what it's like being their friend. And I don't know, they could have put on a front, or it just could be a certain version of themselves. And maybe once I got to know them, they really wouldn't be the best of friends or anything like that. But I have met people that I'm like, man, I think I'd really like to be their friend. And so, and I don't know how to like become friends with strangers in a way that's not awkward, This reminds me of one time I was in Kroger. I might have shared this. And I had just had my hair done. And this girl had met me. And she was like, I really like your hair. And I was like, thank you. And she's like, could you tell me who it was? And I was like, yeah. And I gave her the number and we were talking about it. And she felt like someone we could immediately be friends with. We were similar in age. Obviously, I guess she liked my hair. And we were just chatting and talking. And we talked enough that I exchanged, who my hair lady was with her and had that conversation, right? And so meeting this girl, I was like, I really want her to be my friend. But again, I didn't do anything to make us friends other than just be like, hey, hi, thanks, bye. But I'm thinking this year, like, okay, going into this year, maybe it would be cool if by the end of the year, I made a new friend, whether that came through me starting a new activity, like going somewhere, maybe like, because I still go to the gym and do my strength training classes and my cardio, maybe actually talking to those people that I see every week, but I just never talk to. So that could be on my 2025 list. So I thought about doing stuff like that, of course, that I could actively do, but then maybe like something random would be, I don't know what would be like, I don't know, attending or hosting a party for something. Like that's something I have no intention to do. So if I did, that would be like, oh, that wasn't on my 2025 list, but it really was. I don't know, y'all. I'm still figuring this out, but I'm having fun with it. So then I thought about, okay, so that would be socially could be a category. I thought about financially, work related, like save a certain amount of money. I could also have one where I spend a certain amount of money, like plan to go somewhere. Y'all, I'd love to go to the Mall of America. That is something I want to do, but I also think I'll have to save up a lot of money to go. Just because what's the point in going unless you're going to spend some money? So I thought about that, financially, maybe making a category in that area and being like, okay, I could do that. So just, yeah, I'm still kind of fleshing it out. But if you guys have any ideas or if you're thinking about doing one, I would say throw it out there, do something fun. And for my prizes, I thought about giving my own self money. Be like, okay, if you get your row, you get to spend extra $100 you normally wouldn't spend. Budget that in there somewhere, or travel somewhere, or go to a restaurant and have some specific type of food, which you guys, I have been trying to spend, I keep saying spend, my heart. I have been trying to save money lately, and I have found that my downfall to saving money is food. I will budget out my paycheck to last me, a couple of weeks. And I'll do good. Like if I don't always frequently shop. Sometimes I do. Y'all know them 11 p.m. buys where it's just I'm scrolling my phone and all of a sudden I bought something. But for the most part, I haven't been shopping a whole lot lately. And so I'm like, okay, I can really start saving some money, and I've been trying to. But the one thing that gets me is food. And when I'm hungry, all of a sudden I don't care that I'm saving money. I'm like, you know what? I don't care that this is going to cost me $20. I really want it and I'm going to get it. And you know how I feel like? Y'all, I feel like, the story of Jacob and Esau, and how Esau went hunting and doing his thing, and then he came back and he was willing to give up his birthright for some food. Yep. I was like, oh boy, maybe I need to get control over this, because I certainly don't want to be an Esau. I just read that scripture the other day where it was like, Jacob have I loved and Esau have I hated. And I was like, ooh, I would not want to be the one that God said he hated. Okay, like that. I was like, oh, Esau, what did you do? But yeah, so food gets me every time when I'm trying to save money. It's hilarious. Like I do need to get under control. I'm like, girl, you are trying to save some money. Why are you buying this meal at McAllister's, which is going to cost you this much? Why are you buying that? Why are you buying this? Food is my downfall. I got to work on that. But anyway, so you guys, that is my 2025 card. Oh, I just saw this. So another thing under the financially thing, and I thought about this too, was to maybe this year support someone financially just momentarily. So what this looks like, it could be I buy a product that like somebody that I follow, because I do, you all know I listen to podcasts, I have my YouTubers and things like that, and they're always advertising things. Y'all, I skip past all of that. Like, I'm like, but I'm like, maybe this year I will like either buy a product using their code, or find a way to support them financially. I know some of my podcasters like have a Patreon, and I thought about, okay, maybe I'll do either like a one-time thing on Patreon. Maybe I'll support them for a few months on Patreon, like just doing something to support somebody and they're dreaming what they're doing monetarily. It's just in this whole thing trying to save money. But I guess it's more that I'm trying to, be deliberate in how I spend and save my money, and trying to find a way to bless people, because I think it's great when people are trying to do something, especially if it's something that they're passionate about, and if it's somebody who really is kind of provided me a service. Like my podcasters and YouTubers, they keep me company so much. And so just thinking like, okay, if this is really part of their livelihood, not just something they're doing for fun. Like for me, I'm just doing this for fun, y'all. Like I do not have enough followers to even think about monetary stuff. I wouldn't want to have to commit to that and think about that at this point. So like for me, this is just like a side fun thing that I do. But for some people, they're trying to make a livelihood out of it. They're trying to do more with it. And so I've been thinking about, okay, maybe I can do better about supporting those people in their dreams and what they're trying to do. And so put that on my 2025 card, possibly. So yeah. So I just wanted to throw out there, start with that, since we're in January leading into February. Oh, actually, one of my close friends, we were talking at church, and she was like, let's just start this year in February. Like, let's just, like, January, we'll just redo January, and we'll just say this year starts in February. And I'm kind of with her on that. Like, I intended to immediately start working out again. I kind of took a break off during the holidays. But then when we got that week off on the break, I was like, oh my goodness, because of snow, it was hard to get back into wanting to work out and eat right. And I'm still just this week kind of working on trying to get back eating healthy and watching what I eat and making sure that I'm working out 2 to 3 times a week and things like that. So I'm like, okay, maybe February can be our start. We'll start February 1st. So go ahead and create your 2025. Or if you have suggestions for ideas of what could go in there, holler at me, let me know, DM me, send me a message of some kind. And maybe we can create this 2025 card that's a mixture of things, and we'll see what actually happens. And when things actually happen that we didn't anticipate, we can actually realistically say, I didn't have that on my 2025 card. So anyway, you guys, so one thing I have kept up with was my Bible study day. So I had my third one that was for the month of January, and I did that last Saturday. And so y'all know I've been like lazy and want to stay in, and the snow hasn't been helping. And so I was like, okay, where do I want to go Saturday to do my Bible study day? And that day I was like, honestly, I don't want to go anywhere. So I didn't. So I had my Bible study in my room. I have this big, comfy, cozy recliner chair in my bedroom. And usually I do read books in there. Sometimes I go to my kind of office area. But a lot of times I like to read before I go to bed. And so I have my soft lighting in there, and it's close enough to the bed that my brain is starting to realize we're kind of shutting down, but it's not my bed itself. So it's a very cozy area. So I said, you know what? I want to still do the cozy while I'm, doing my Bible study. And so I did. I went into my room, shut the door, let Hubs know I'm doing my Bible study, and did it in my own home. I took my notes still. I had my Bible, and I looked up specific things about that was on my mind that week, and just trying to figure out, okay, let me just take a moment to look at some scriptures. And I did, and I think I went for an hour, maybe an hour and a half. So it wasn't 2 hours. It wasn't as long. I thought about making some hot chocolate, to continue with the cozy vibes, but I wasn't feeling it. So I just had water, I believe, honestly, and continued to write and to read the word. And I did use my iPad to write. Y'all know, if y'all remember me talking about that, that's been a thing. So I've been writing a lot lately, just journaling a lot. I'm on my little iPad, and just writing a lot of thoughts and finding it very, very helpful. I've always been someone who's written for it to be a kind of cathartic kind of thing. But I had found that the last few months I hadn't been writing a lot until this past month. I think maybe I just needed time. I have no idea. But I've started writing a whole lot more. And it's been very interesting. And these writings have been very targeted towards writing to God, writing down my thoughts, but it often frequently turns being like, okay, but God, what about this? And so I've been writing that, and I've been feeling like David. I'm like, okay, because David has written a lot, and he wrote a lot about his ups and his downs and his downs and his ups, and that's kind of what I feel like my writing has been about. And so it's been very good to do that. So I did a lot of that during my Bible study day as well, the journaling and the writing and reading the word. And I think it went well. So I was very happy that we did Bible study day number 3 for January. I'm excited about February. And it was funny because I was like, okay, this is the last Saturday in January. I mean, I could do it today, or I could do it. I still have some more days in January, because I was like, Bible study day doesn't have to be on a Saturday. But I do think, I'm assuming I'll probably keep it on Saturdays, just because that's probably my most flexible day to do things. But again, I am trying to keep in mind, finding the best times to give to God, not just the most convenient, if that makes sense. So currently it'll still be on Saturdays, just because of the unrushed, flexible quality of Saturdays, but it may not always be on a Saturday. I might do it on another day. We'll see. Just like I'm recording this on a Wednesday before church after work. I just happen to have a little bit of time in between. And so I was like, well, let me run home and go ahead and start recording and maybe free up this Saturday to do something else. I have no idea what I'm going to do this Saturday, which is why I usually record on a Saturday, because that is my free day. Yeah, so I just thought I would go ahead and record. And so choosing Saturdays for Bible study days, while they may not always be the case, hey, that seems to be what have worked so far. So Bible study day number 3 went pretty well. And so this kind of goes back to talking about how food has been my thing lately. So I have to tell y'all this. I wrote this down because looking back, I was like, oh my goodness, Phoebe. And that is, so I told y'all food is my weakness. So I was having a rough day last week. And so I found myself, when I have these days, I just crave comfort food. And normally it's my crumble cookie, which I did get a crumble cookie a couple weeks ago, but this past week I did not get a crumble cookie. Instead, I went to my homemade ice cream and pie kitchen and I bought, y'all, I get there and I was like, okay, I know I'm going to want that Reese's peanut butter pie. And I was like, I'm sure that's just what I'll get. So I go in and I was like, can I get my Reese's peanut butter pie? And they're like, yeah. And I was like, thank you. But while I was there, you guys, the banana pudding just looks so good. I mean, they fill that container up with the banana pudding. So of course, how could I not get that banana pudding? So I was like, can you go ahead and add the banana pudding? And then you guys, because I am who I am, I looked at that ice cream and it just looked so fresh and good. And I was like, okay, if you could, I would like 1 scoop, 2 flavors. And I got the chocolate chip cookie dough ice cream, or the cookie dough ice cream, I should say. I don't know if they have chocolate chips in it anymore. And the peanut butter fudge ice cream, which is amazing. I don't know what they did. They changed it up somehow, but those chunks of peanut butter and fudge were huge and so good. Like it hit the spot when I ate it. So I got that too. So I got a scoop of ice cream, 2 flavors. I got the banana pudding and I got the Reese's peanut butter pie all in one night. Now I didn't eat it all in one night, but I did get all 3 because I was like, I just need some comfort food. And I got all of that. And y'all, I kid you not, probably like after I did eat that, a couple days later, I was still needing some comfort. And so on my way home, I got there's this place called Sweet Savannah's, and it's one of those kind of like froyo type places. They like you get the ice cream in a cup, and then you can fill as much toppings as you want. Like you pay for a certain size, and then you can fill it up with your toppings. Y'all, I got that. I got the banana ice cream, and I put the big O like chocolate cookie dough crunch or like topping, and then the fudge topping, and then the caramel bites and the little turtle caramel bites. You guys, I know. Oh, and the little peanut butter y'all, I've been into my sweets lately, and that's what I mean by, man, we're going to have to start in February because January was not the one. So, anywho, food segment, all the sweets and goodies. And I think part of it too is because it has been cold, that it makes you want the cozy comfort, right? Like it just makes pie sound good. And surprisingly, I don't know why ice cream sounds good when it's cold outside, but the ice cream sounded good. and the banana pudding sounded good. You guys, anyway, listening to this, y'all gonna be like, you're making me hungry. But y'all, it's just been good. What can I say? It's just been good. With that, I also, in not my efforts to necessarily save money, but one of the things I like to do is go to Goodwill. And so my husband and I just went to go take some things to the Goodwill. And while I'm there, I'm like, hey, let me shop around, because sometimes you will find some really good things there that are super cute. And if not cute, at least unique, right? And so I went in and I did end up finding this dress shirt thing, which you guys, okay, last I remember when I went to Goodwill, it was maybe like $3.99 for a shirt or something. Y'all, it was like $5.99 for a shirt. And then I got this dress that for me, it would be a shirt because it was super short, but I guess it counted as a dress. I was like, yeah, this is not a dress. But that was $9.99 or $8.99, I think. And so I had to pay y'all $10. I was like, Goodwill, when did your prices get this high? I guess everybody's going through it. But so I did go to the Goodwill to find some things. But the part that stood out to me was I went to, normally I just go and look at the clothes and just go in and out. But while I was waiting on my husband, because he dropped me off to run to Kroger real quick and he was going to be right back. And while I was waiting on him, I decided to walk into like the aisles that have like home good stuff, like just other things other than clothes. And I saw this big array of mugs. Yeah, like all kinds of mugs. And y'all, I saw this. And so if you're a mug person, check out a Goodwill. But I saw this mug that was so unique but hilarious. So I wish I could show y'all a picture. I'll do my best to describe it. So picture a mug, regular size mug, that is designed like a pill bottle. Okay, yeah, like white top. So the top of the mug is white and it has like the curves around it, like the dents around it, like a pill bottle, like the top of a pill. And then the bottom of the mug is orange, okay, like the color of a pill bottle. And then across that is the white, like sticker, right? And it says prescription and in big words, coffee. And it looks like a prescription, like the style of it is as a prescription. So it's like white with the same little prescription font, whatever that font is, and it says coffee. And the name of it, or I guess the title of, I don't know, the name, whatever the medicine name would be, it says Mr. Java Joe Espresso, or for who it's for. And says drink 1 mug by mouth, repeat until awake and alert. And then at the bottom it says 12 ounces of black gold. Refills are for sure and expires when the mug is empty. And it is like, it's just, I might have to put this picture on Instagram. I don't know. But it was the most unique mug. And I didn't buy it. I did not. But I'm like, I'm sure some coffee loving person out there would enjoy this mug, or at least maybe like a doctor or something, because it really looks like a big prescription pill bottle. And I was like, wow, like this is the stuff that you can find at a Goodwill. Like you can find these unique items at your Goodwill. And I was thinking, like, how fun would it be? Maybe this could be part of my 2025 card, but to do a mug exchange party where everybody has to bring just a mug, like one that they find, like any kind of mug, but definitely go to the Goodwill to find a unique one. And whoever has the like most unique mug gets like a Starbucks gift card or something. Like, I think that would be so much fun because I would have won. Had I brought that mug, I think I would have won. So now I want to do that. Now I want to put that on my 2025 card. I want to have a mug party where everybody brings a mug and exchanges it. And then whoever has the most unique mug gets a like Starbucks gift card that everybody put in for. Maybe like everybody put $5 in or something. And they get the whole pot for the Starbucks gift card or something like that. So yeah, so I saw that and I thought that was interesting. But another kind of unique thing that I saw was, y'all, driving, I always notice and spot things driving. And one was I'd gotten behind this car, and I wasn't speeding or tailgating or anything. I was just behind the car. But I guess I was getting close. And then I read like the picture that of a sticker that they had on the back of their car, which y'all be careful reading these stickers, okay? Sometimes people have some crazy stuff written on their cars. But this one was the like most polite thing. It only said, "Please be patient." And I was like, oh, y'all, I felt so convicted. I was like, oh my bad. I am so sorry. Like I'm not trying to be all up on you. You know how most stickers are snarky and sarcastic and they're like, get off my bumper, blah, 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 blah. And this one just said, please be patient. And I was like, oh, okay, I will. I will be patient with you. I'm sorry. Like, I just felt bad. And I wasn't, like I said, I wasn't even tailgating or all up on them. I just happened to read it. But I thought that was so polite. And now I'm like, I want a polite sticker on my car. Actually, I don't want any stickers on my car. I don't really do that. But if I did, I would want a polite one. And I thought that one was a nice, polite sticker. And it did make me think, like, okay, I'm going to be patient. I'll be polite. At least with this car. Like, I may zoom around this car, but I won't ride on this car's tail because they are kindly asking for me to be patient, which I thought was just the sweetest thing. And so I saw that and I thought I'd write that down because I thought that was precious. But along with thinking about cars, so our roads have been pretty crazy because of the snow. And it hasn't snowed in a couple of weeks, but the snow is still there. Like there's still areas of ice and snow. And so y'all know I live on this kind of windy back road. And there's like this area, this section that I guess just doesn't get the same amount of sunlight as every other part. It's around this curve. And it always surprises me when it comes up. Like, I know it should be there, but it's right around this curve. There's still a whole bunch of ice on one side of the road. And for the longest, I was like, like I would, if nobody was coming, I would drive on the other side so I wouldn't have to drive through the ice and snow. But now, since it's been there for a couple weeks, I kind of feel obligated to help get this ice and snow down. So like I will slow down now, and I will stay on the same side of the road. Well, one that's, probably the safest thing. But it was, like I said, it's ice and snow, so it felt safer to go around it. But now I feel like it's my duty to like drive through this ice and snow so that it can eventually go down. And I was like, sure, I'm not the only one who thinks about this. Like, does anyone else think about like, okay, this is part of my job to drive over this section of the ice so it'll go down a little more. Like, sometimes I'll do that. You know how when you're driving, there's kind of that lump of ice or snow in the middle of the lane because everybody drives, they drive like they should on the lane, and therefore that middle part doesn't often get tired. So for me, I feel like, okay, I want to purposely drive on that part because I want that to go down so the rest of the road can be clear. So there's not this big old lump of snow and ice all the way down this road. Y'all, that may not be the best course of action, and it may not be the most logical thing, but my brain was like, this is me helping. Like, this is me helping everybody driving so they don't feel like they have to just drive on like specifically this way or have to swerve around it. But if we all bit by bit keep driving on that lump of snow and ice, then it will go down enough that we can all drive safely again. Y'all, I know the things that go through my mind, but that did go through my mind. And I was like, okay, I am going to help this problem. Now, I do take it slow. I don't try to whip through it because I don't want to get on it and swerve or crash or anything. But I was like, it's been here for 2 weeks. It's been too long. Everybody is, I'm thinking, driving around it, and therefore this section of the road is never getting clear. So now I feel like it's part of my duty every time to drive over that little ice and to crunch it down just a little more, just so that we're getting closer to that road being clear. Let me know if I'm crazy, or if you think the same. If you're like, yes, this is my duty, and this is what, this is what I think should be done. So anyway, all right. So the next thing I want to talk about is it is not a deep thing per se, but it did give me a thought, and it ties into my music segment. So I'm like, okay, I am ready to like listen to music and some new music, new year, new you, new music, right? And so I've been trying to look at, Apple will suggest music based on things that you already like. And so I was like, I got to get some new music going. Well, I turned on their, I guess, new to you kind of station. I don't know exactly what it's called, but it's their suggestions. And so it's just basic Christian radio is what it said. And I listened to a few things on there. Well, one of the songs I listened to was by this group called Sons of Sunday. And I listened to the song and I was like, it's not bad. But then I heard my boy, Brandon Lake. And I said, oh, is he part of the Sons of Sunday thing? And I immediately perked up. So then I Googled and was like, what is the Sons of Sunday? And apparently it's a group of him and 5 other men, like Chandler Moore, whose voice I absolutely adore as well, and other guys who I didn't recognize all their names, but just Pat Barrett, maybe, Stephen Furtick, different people. So I was like, oh, these are some kind of well-known singers. And so I started listening to the same song, and I was like, okay, this song isn't too bad, because at first I was going to write it off. I was like, this song is so cheesy. Not cheesy, but it just wasn't like hitting it for me per se. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great either, I thought. But then when I realized who it was, I was like, okay, I started feeling the song a little more. And that made me think about how my pastor always says that the man is greater than the message, or some type of phrase. He phrases it that way, like the message is, the man is more than the message, I think is what he says. And basically he's saying, like, you can have the truth, you can have the words, and you can speak those words of truth and everything, but if your lifestyle and who you are and your character doesn't align, then people aren't going to hear your message, right? Like, and it's same with like relationship stuff. Like, you may know someone's situation and you may feel like you can speak into that, But if you don't have a relationship with that person, the message isn't going to come across the same as if you did, right? And so I thought about that. So that's the only serious part. So I thought about that in the sense of like, it was funny how when I first heard the song, I was like, oh, it's okay. But once I learned like who was singing it, I was like, oh, okay, this is much better. And I was like, okay, so mental note for Phoebe, because I'm always, coming up with ways to be better. Make sure that your character aligns with whatever message that you want to say, because your words can't go past who you are, if that makes sense. The man is more than the message. Like who you are will speak louder than what you say. And that's something obviously we all know, but I just thought about that because I just saw it in a very practical light. And I thought about that too because like on the flip side, I have had situations where I've heard someone speak before or like talk to someone about something and it just wasn't taken the same way because things about that person's character just felt questionable, right? And you're like, I can hear the words you're saying, but I've seen your actions and, I've seen things and I don't know that I can fully take it. And so, man, that just sat with me and I was like, okay, I want to make sure that the things that I say match with who I am. And sometimes that it can be tricky because I don't think people intentionally are not living up to who they want to be, right? I don't think people ever are intentionally hypocritical. But it can be something that you slip into accidentally, right? And so that's something that I want to make sure that, if I'm saying I'm a Christian person, that I'm doing those things that are Christian. If I'm saying that I am someone who is trying to improve herself, then I want to be someone who tries to improve herself, right? I just making sure that even in all seasons, that I'm being true to the words that I'm saying with who I am. Make sure that they match and align, right? Anyway, so that's as deep as it gets, y'all. I just thought it was funny. But then, like I said, so this ties into my music segment because it's not that song. Y'all, I don't even remember what that song was called. That is my music segment. Is the song I'm going to suggest now. But I have to give so many disclaimers and caveats with this song. And that is, okay, so on the suggested list, they suggested a song called, I think it's Take It All Back or Take It Back by Torrin Wells. And I like Torrin Wells. I like his music. Most of it's really catchy, kind of upbeat. It reminds me a lot of the music that I listened to when I was younger. And so I listened to this song and it was fine. It was his version, regular version was fine. I saw he had like 5 million different versions of it, but I was like, oh, okay, cool. Well, y'all, I ran across a version of it that's where he's on it and he's featuring a group called Skillet. Okay. Already. So if you've heard of Skillet, you either have two reactions. You're either like, oh yeah, okay. Or you're like, I don't like them. Okay. So my song suggestion is the Take It All Back song, but the Skillet version with Torrin Wells and Davies. And here's what I have to say with that. Okay. If you are someone, so let's say you've never heard of Skillet and you're like, I don't know what to anticipate. If you are someone who's never been into Christian rock, do not listen to this song. Unless, like if for a specific reason, if you're like, I'm not into rock, I don't like rock, I don't think it's just not for me, do not listen to this song, okay? If you are someone who in the early 2000s enjoyed Christian rock, if you enjoyed people like Barlow Girl, Deciphered Down, Skillet themselves, if you listened to them and enjoyed it back in the 2000s, you will enjoy this song. It was so nostalgic. I do not often listen to Christian rock. I did a lot when I was younger. I definitely did in those high school years. You know how, everybody in church, out of church, Christian or not, you go through the agony of teenage years, right? You go through those times where just, that whole stage. And so I did listen to a bit of Christian rock, not a whole lot. I would say maybe Christian rock or Christian punk rock type sounds during that time and loved it. It spoke to me. I was like, this is where I am, the drama. Like it was good. It was good. And I still enjoy it now. I enjoy the guitars. I enjoy the drums. I enjoy the beats. Like sometimes that's what you need and want. And now I didn't often listen to Christian rock in the sense of like the screamo type music, like that really wasn't me. But sometimes there would be a couple songs that maybe had that. Okay. This song does have a little bit of that. Not a lot. It's like two sections, one section of the song where it happens twice. But you guys, okay, so if you don't mind a little bit of screamo, if you don't mind that kind of distorted, scratchy rock sound that I actually really like when some guys can do it very well, like that, da, 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 you know, like that scratch. Y'all, I can't do it because I'm not a rock singer, but that scratchy kind of voice that I don't know how they do it without actually messing up their voice. Don't listen to the song. If you don't have like guitar and your typical rock drum sound, don't listen to the song. But if you do, if you ever did at some point, you've got to go listen to the song because it will take you back to the 2000s. I'm telling you, like 2004 to like 2008, roughly that time frame, 2003 maybe, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Those years is what the song sounded like. And because it starts out with Skillet and then it even goes into a little singing. I always loved when in the middle of like a rock song there was singing, whether it was the main singer, whether it was the female lead, whether it was like if there's still that in the background, but then someone is just like singing over it. I love that combination. I don't know why, but I love that combination of like da 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 with the soft, with the singing. So there is a bit of that. That's where I think Torrin Wells and Davies kind of do their part of the song. So it starts out with Skillet. You get a little bit of Torrin and Davies in there, and then you get the like Skillet screamo part, like the da. Y'all, I wasn't ready for it. I was not ready. When I first listened to that song, I said, "What?" And I was taken aback for like a second, and then I was like, "Oh my goodness, this takes me back," and I enjoyed it. And then after that, so this is why I'm like, for these, it's a take me back song. After that, it goes into a sound that almost sounds like a video game. If you listen to Christian rock back in the day, or punk rock, or whatever you want to call it, you know that video sound. It's almost like EDM sound, but it's like you're in a video game. It's like that fast pace, like just the way it sounds, it's fast, and it feels like you're in a video game of some kind. Well, that's how the end of that song goes. And y'all, and the words aren't bad. The words are good. I mean, and the words are enjoyable. So, or like, I think they're relatable and good. And so but I just had to give those caveats. So if you're not a Christian rock band person, don't listen to it. But if you're willing to give it a chance, or you were at some point, please go listen to the song. Like I said, I think it's called Take It All Back. Maybe just Take It Back. And it's Skillet and Torrin Wells. And I've listened to it like 6 times. And like I said, the first time I heard it, I wasn't sure how I felt about it. But this time that I've heard it, I after, like I said, like the second or third time, I was like, you know what? I really enjoyed that song. I want to listen to it. So I added it to my playlist. And so that is my song segment for you guys. I definitely wanted to add that in there, and to, just to keep that in there if you want to try, if you want to experiment with that. Okay, so I'm about to wrap it up, and I want to wrap it up with not super serious. Y'all know I'm not super serious, but I do look for those moments in life that I feel are kind of reflections of God, either in the way that he is, the way that he works, or just in a different way to think about things. Y'all know I mentioned earlier, like I'm trying to get, become more mature when I'm getting to know. And part of that is where was I? I don't know where I was or what I was looking at, but it was a kid. And apparently their parents had told them no or something. And they just, it was in Car Rider Line. And a kid had come out with just the most disappointed face, just upset face. And I was like, ooh, that kid just got told no. And you can't help but think, oh, like maybe that kid was a little spoiled, or like I know that parent must be a little embarrassed by that kid like kind of storming out of the car. It's slightly disrespectful. Not saying the kid was being disrespectful per se, but like just leaving on that note. I was just like, oh my. And I just thought about, like, I don't know why the kid, like I said, maybe got told no or something, because the parent looked like, look, kid, I'm sorry, but da-da-da-da-da. Maybe he didn't want to come to school today or something like that. But just seeing the face of the child, I was like, man, I got convicted, because I was like, I know I've made that face a couple of times here in this last little bit. Like, I know that I've been disappointed, which disappointment is an okay emotion to feel. All the emotions are okay. But just that kind of like, I don't know, that extra piece of it, that kind of, I don't want to say spoiled piece, but that piece that you forget just how blessed you are, was there. And so I felt a little conviction. I was like, oh my, like when I am being told no, not even to like a big thing, like this is like, it wasn't necessarily even a big thing, right? It wasn't a huge no. It was just more like a, just wait a minute type thing. Right. And I just was like, I felt bad. I was like, man, I know that's how I responded. And I was like, gosh, like however that parent may feel, whether they're just, a little disappointing their kid for that or feeling even disrespected. Like I wouldn't want God to feel that way about me. Like I know he loves me, just like I know that parent loves that kid. That doesn't mean you want your kid to pout when they get told no, right? And so I was like, if nothing else, I'm going to work on not pouting when I get told no. And so there was that aspect. So I was like, I definitely want to think about my, I guess, how I'm responding to God. I definitely 100% believe you got to be honest with God. You can't hide nothing from him. So if you're upset or whatever, you gonna have to show him anyway. He already knows, right? But also monitoring my own, like when I get that reaction, okay, but also this is God. He's your heavenly Father, respect, all that stuff. So I was like, okay, I'm going to work on when God says no, not just, because a lot of times we hear when God says no, just trust in God, like, yes, but sometimes I would trust God with a frown on my face, right? Like, I trust you, God, but, so I was like, okay, we got to work on that frown on the face thing. And so if nothing else, just so I don't want to be the spoiled brat of all God's children. I don't want to be the one who's like, oh, dang it, my way. So I was like, okay, I want to work on that. But then on the flip side of that, so we've been doing this, what's called access testing with our ML students this last couple of weeks. And that is where I already explained that, get testing on 4 areas. And so another moment that I had with the kids was I was testing a couple of kids, and some of the kids get very nervous during the test, test anxiety or however they're feeling. And there's one specific kid, I had a group, it was a small group, maybe like 5 at a time. I can't remember exactly, maybe even 4. And one kid, for the first like few questions, and I think this was for the speaking test, so they had to talk into the microphone and express their answers verbally. And that kid, anytime they answered, they looked back at me and just look at me wide-eyed, and I would smile and nod, and then they would smile and turn back. It was like they just needed that quick moment of approval and that quick moment of like, I'm proud of you, you're doing it, you're doing good. And I thought and I felt good giving that to them. Like I felt good giving them that moment of yeah, you're doing good, keep going. You're keep going, right? And I wasn't grading them. I didn't know if they did good or not, honestly, but just that motivation of like, yeah. And I found that the couple of times, like after maybe the first 3 questions, the student stopped looking back at me and I think felt confident enough to go on. But I didn't mind giving that student that little extra, like, yeah, I am proud of you. You're doing good. Keep going, and again, because y'all know I keep looking for ways. I felt like, okay, God, 2 things happening here. 2 things. One, that kid was seeking for approval. And for me, I think, obviously, I do want God's approval, but sometimes I put my head down and I just go. And I'm like, I'm going to go and I'm just going to go and do my best, right? But I find myself, while I'm doing that, my stomach and my brain and even my spirit might be filled with a little bit of anxiety and a little bit of things. And what I was telling myself is be like that student. Be open and vulnerable enough to pause, look up at Jesus and be like, hey, am I doing okay? Are you proud? And get that quick nod of approval and then keep going. Keep going. Then keep going forward. Like telling myself that it's okay to pause for a minute, look to God, get that kind of quick nod of, yeah, I'm still here. Yeah, I'm watching you. Yeah, I'm proud of you going through this test, and then keep grinding, right? Because I think sometimes you either get in the grind so long, or you think, okay, this is a test. I'm going to put my head down. I'm going to do it. And God's like, but I'm right here, and I'm here to encourage you, and I'm here to uplift you, and I'm here to give you encouragement while you go through this thing. You don't have to do it alone, right? And so I was like, okay, it's okay to pause and to look at God and get that quick nod of approval. And then, because my brain also says, but God wants me to stand on my own 2 feet, right? But then I was like, okay, but as the person who gave the approval, I didn't think less of that kid for looking at me. In fact, my heart went out even more to that kid. Like, I paid attention a little more to that student, because I was like, oh, like, they were looking to me for approval, and I'm going to give it to them because they are doing what they can do. They are doing something that's hard. And so I was like, okay, so like, so that's the flip side. So me, yes, giving myself permission to pause and to look at God for approval. And then knowing that when God gives it, when he smiles down on me, he's not looking at me like I'm less than the other children of God, like I need more, but he's giving that look in love. Like, he's looking at me in love. And so, y'all, like I said, I'm not trying to be deep, and I'm not one of those people who tries to make a sermon out of everything, y'all, because I've seen those videos and it's hilarious. But I am someone who tries to find moments that can encourage my walk with God, that can give me a different perspective. If not one that I can carry with me for a lifetime, at least one that can get me through a season. And so right now, maybe just in the month of February, maybe just in the next couple weeks, as I'm going through things and putting my head down and like plowing through certain things, I'm going to remind myself to take a moment and to look to God for that look of approval, and for that look of, I'm with you and I'm here with you, and you can do it. And just trusting that God's there with me. I know that's something that I've, said in my heart, and I know in my heart and my mind, but being like more, I guess, intentional about it, right? There's that word, intentional, being intentional about a lot of things, hopeful intention. So that's kind of my thought process. And then, of course, I always want to take what encourages me and give it to you, and hope that encourages you, that if you're one of those go-getter, goal type people, to just know that it's okay to take a quick moment to just look and to God, get that quick smile, and to keep going. Like, you don't have to do it alone. You don't have to go at it alone. It doesn't necessarily mean that you are better and stronger and smarter than the person next to you if you have to stop and look at God. In fact, I would say it's a better thing to stop and look at God. Of course, obviously we know that, but you know what I mean about the being vulnerable and open. So anyway, so I thought about that this week and was like, okay, God, I'm going to do that. I'm going to try my best. And I hope that encourages you in some way. If not, leave it there. Maybe you'll use it further down the line. Maybe you encourage somebody else with it, or maybe it's just for me, and I'm A-okay with that too. But yeah, so all right. I want to throw out there, guys, so I'm wrapping it up here. But I did want to throw out there that in a couple of weeks, and I think probably the next episode I'll be able to share, because this comes out on the 4th. So the next episode I'll be able to share. I'm excited. So I'm going to go hang out with a friend. I think this is why this could totally be on my my 2025 card, for the social part. But I'm going to go hang out with a friend, and we're going to go see a comedian. So y'all know I'm trying to explore, do more. Last year, I got to see Trey Kennedy and my podcaster, Jake Triplett. And this year, I'm going to go see John Christ. And so you may have heard of him. He's a comedian. He's a podcaster. He has his own scandal, as I feel like a lot of people do. He was canceled back in 2020 or something, came back. Grace, y'all. It's just grace. And I enjoyed listening to his podcast. I don't always follow his Instagram or his comedy, so I don't know. This is funny. I think I might have watched one of his specials before. I'm not sure, but I do enjoy his podcast. So I am going to go and see him with a friend of mine, see how that goes. Hopefully it'll go well. I'll let y'all know. So anyway, I thought I'd throw that out there, but the next episode I should be able to share how that went, and spending time with an old friend of mine, whom I absolutely love and adore, that I haven't seen in a while. Y'all, I did forget to mention, that is on my 2025 things of just what I want to do. And that is reconnect with friends, really build those friendships. I have those close friends that I see all the time, like work friends and church friends, but there's also some older friends, like friends from childhood. I have a friend named Cassie. I got to see her recently, and I was like, man, I really want to reconnect with her. So making that time to do that. We don't live in the same city, so it's a little harder, but I want to do that. And then my friend that I'm about to meet, we went to Bible college together, and so I'm excited about reconnecting with her. And I think that's part of, I think, what I want this year to be, if nothing else, is kind of reconnecting with those friends that I still love and adore. We just haven't connected, right? So I'm excited about that. I'll have to let y'all know how that goes. But yeah, so thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you for tuning in. I hope y'all have an amazing introduction into February. And yeah, I'll catch y'all in a couple weeks.